Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? It's great to see you all, and we have a very big topic to discuss. We're going to dive deep into this one. So, first things first, please make sure you've hit the like button and tell me where you're tuning in from. Tell me where you guys are watching from. We wanted to stream a bit earlier, 6 p.m. as usual, but there was an important matter that needed tending to. So, here we are. So I see already you guys are saying Netherlands, UK, Amsterdam, India, Canada, Calgary in Canada, California, Brazil, Seattle, Russia, California, Germany, Portugal. There we go. It's exploding. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. That's great. I'm always happy to see how international the audience is. And did you guys get a notification? Let me know. I'm gonna dive right into this. So Zawahiri is he's a very important one, right? He's I wondered when they get him. Although they always said that, oh, we've gotten this guy, we suspect we have him, and then it turns out they've killed like 50 civilians. It's awful. But let's dive into it, because I want to tell you a little bit about what happened in Pakistan as well. Okay, so the United States have just declared that they've killed the head of Al Qaeda, Ayman al Zawahiri. Okay, bin Laden was killed in 2011 in that infamous raid, so they say, and then al Zawahiri became his successor. Now, my life was sort of, or almost, shall we say, affected by Zawahiri in a terrorist bombing, which I'll tell you about in a second, what happened in Pakistan. But Zawahiri is a very interesting character, right? Because he also, he's Egyptian. He was a doctor, a surgeon, and he tried to overthrow the government in Egypt many times, and he got punished for this as well. He went to prison, actually, right? So, his main thing is the Muslim Brotherhood. That's where he comes from. That's his school of thought. And I'll just show you on the screen a picture of him. He's sat here next to bin Laden. Now, Zawahiri is not just, the guy who took over Al Qaeda. He used to be the number 2, right? So he was bin Laden's deputy and his mentor, even, right? So not just the number 2 in charge, but the guy who provided, shall we say, guidance in and training and so on. And they cross paths, of course, during the Soviet-Afghan war, right? So this is from 1979 to 1989. That is when the Soviets enter Afghanistan, and then the United States provides support to the Mujahideen. They send them Stingers, all sorts of military equipment, money, training through the CIA, and of course, the people that they're supporting include Osama bin Laden and Ayman al Zawahiri and everybody else together, right? So basically, just before I go into the Al Qaeda stuff, let me just tell you what he tried to do in Egypt, right? Which kind of shaped the rest. So, in 1981, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison because he he participated in a coup, right? They killed Sadat, who was the Egyptian president. And then the Egyptian government basically put all of these people on trial, and he was their spokesperson. And you can see here the cameras are filming him in this cage that they've set up, right, for the public. And he's speaking in English, huh? He's basically addressing the world. And I want to just play this clip to you very, very briefly. Just take a look at this from 1981, yeah?
To the foreign press, to the whole world, this is our word by Dr. Ayman al Zawahiri. Now, we want to speak to the whole world. Who are we? Who are we? Why did they bring us here? And what we want to say? About the first question, we are Muslims. We are Muslims who believed in their religion, in its broad meaning, as both an ideology and practice. We believed in our religion, both as an ideology and practice, and hence we tried our best to establish this Islamic State and Islamic society.
Right, so there it is. Their goal was to get rid of Sadat, and they were hoping the whole people would rise up, and then they could establish an Islamic caliphate in Egypt. Right, that was basically their goal. Now he's sentenced to prison for 3 years, like I said, and keep in mind this is 1981, so this is during the Soviet-Afghan War, and then of course he gets out, and what's going on during this time? Well, you have he goes to Pakistan. And in Pakistan, this is on the border with Afghanistan, right? You have Peshawar, which is a very important place, right? This is really, when you go to Peshawar, which I visited, this is really, you're in the thick of it. This is the no man's land, literally like the no man's land. You're not allowed to go there. The government does not even control it. It's controlled by tribes and, locals. And, we had to get a special permission to go there. So at that time during the Soviet-Afghan War, they basically are running something called the Bureau of Services. In Arabic, it's Maktab al-Khadamat. So this is bin Laden, this is al Zawahiri, and a few others. And what this Maktab al-Khadamat is, they're basically helping to bring in foreign fighters, and then sending them in to fight the Soviets. And I should add one thing, that Zawahiri, because as I mentioned, he's a doctor, he's a surgeon, I believe he was helping treat wounded mujahideen at one point, so people that had been wounded fighting the Soviets. Here's the thing though. So obviously a lot of these mujahideen, including bin Laden, including Zawahiri, they go on to form Al Qaeda, right? Some of them, the Taliban, others go into Al Qaeda, and Ayman Zawahiri's organization, which is Islamic Jihad in Egypt, he ends up merging this with Al Qaeda later on. But of course, like I said, during his when he was alive, he tried to get rid of the Egyptian government many times. So they killed Sadat. And then they tried to get rid of Mubarak, who's another Egyptian president. And, you don't know a lot of this, because the focus, why the Americans wanted him, is they wanted him because of several things. For example, they say that he helped mastermind 9/11, which was horrific, 3,000 civilians killed, 3,000 people dead. I think hundreds of firefighters alone killed. And then, of course, there were the embassy bombings, the U.S. embassies in Africa, 2 of them. One was in Nairobi. The other one escapes me right now. But, I think in Nairobi alone, you had something obscene, like 4,000 people wounded, right? This is what we're talking about. We're talking about hundreds of people dead and thousands wounded. This is how indiscriminate the terrorism is, right? And then, of course, we have, if you look here, they also wanted, I think, on the USS Cole, and they have this whole FBI list over here. I'm going to show you his file, right? This is his file. So, yeah, here you go. So, Biden, I'll play you Biden's clip in a second, but he talks about how he helped mastermind the USS Cole bombings, as I mentioned, in the year 2000. And then the 1998 bombings of the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. There we go, right? It was in Nairobi and Tanzania, so in Kenya and Tanzania. So these are the things that they really want him for. It's 4 main things: USS Cole, the double bombings in Kenya and Tanzania, and 9/11. Okay, so that's what they really want him for. Now, obviously, this is not everything he did. Like I told you, they took out the Egyptian president Sadat in 81, and then in the 90s they tried to take out Mubarak. Okay, so I think this was in 1995 in Ethiopia, right? This was in Addis Ababa in 1995. They tried to take out. They tried to assassinate Mubarak, who was visiting. The Egyptian president was visiting Ethiopia. They tried to assassinate him. It failed. And then back home, what the Egyptian government did is they cracked down on the Muslim Brotherhood, so his organization. And so in response to this crackdown, what Zawahiri did is he blew up the Egyptian embassy in Islamabad. So that's where I was at that time. Basically my school and the Egyptian embassy were like this, like literally like this, like you know, basically stuck together. And I remember there was. It's funny how they describe it in the news, because that's not how I remember it, and it's not correct. They say here, for example, that yeah, here you go. This is the one. They say that 2 cars filled with explosives rammed through the compound's gates, killing 16 people. It's true that 16 people died, but I do not remember 2 cars ramming through the gates. What happened is they did a double suicide bombing, which is very common. Basically, what I remember, we were in the classroom, and there was a loud noise, like you heard a car horn outside. Now that I'm an adult and I understand what that is, I think it was a car alarm going off from the first bomb. But I remember we were in the classroom, and the teacher, you know, we were all suddenly quiet. And you got to keep in mind, this is like, we're kids. You need to really make a loud sound to get a bunch of kids to shut up. So this was very loud. And there was some car horn going off outside, and the teacher was, you know, she was worried, and she's like, what is that? Maybe it's a taxi or something, like someone is waiting for someone. And then the glass exploded, and you had, you know, all the windows going off. This was the second bomb. Of course, now I know that there were 2 bombs. Back then, I just didn't know what the hell was going on. There's like one loud noise, everyone's quiet, and then suddenly the windows are exploding. I don't remember anything after that. I just remember us being outside. Like they, you know, I think they had us lined up in queues outside or something like that. Like they, you know, when there's a fire drill or some kind of drill, everybody has to go outside and get in the line. I think that's what was happening, because we had to wait in some kind of formation outside. And so I don't remember everything in between. Maybe it's that thing where like the mind does this, like, you know, when you have like a trauma, it like envelops it, so you can't remember it. So yeah, I have this like short gap there, but that's him. That's a Zawahiri, right? So he was blowing up the Egyptian embassy in response to this crackdown going on. You know, basically, this is in 1995. So at this point, remember, the Soviet-Afghan war is over, but he is still working with bin Laden. Okay, so you know, basically afterwards, he became second in command. In 2011, when they say that they killed him, you know, he took over. And today, this morning, Joe Biden, the U.S. president, he goes on and says that they have assassinated Zawahiri, so they've effectively killed, you know, Al Qaeda's chief. Let's take a look at what Biden had to say.
In Kabul, Afghanistan, that killed the emir of Al Qaeda, Ayman al Zawahiri. You know, Zawahiri was bin Laden's leader. He was with him the whole time. He was his number 2 man, his deputy at the time the terrorist attack 9/11. He was deeply involved in the planning of 9/11. One of the most responsible for the attacks that murdered 2,977 people on American soil. For decades, he was the mastermind behind attacks against
Hey everybody, can you? I think we had a small interruption there. Can you see me and hear me? Okay. Everybody, you all right? Let me know in the comments. I'm sorry for the interruption. I don't know what the hell happened. You guys keep joking. Oh, it's the CIA. Who the hell knows? But I wanted to show you something else. Just give me a second to pull this up. I'm just waiting for you to tell me that we're good to go. We're good to go? Perfect. Okay, let's go. Let's continue. So, like I was saying, Biden was speaking. He was basically announcing that, we've got the Emir of Al Qaeda. That's funny, because Emir in Arabic is like, the ruler, shall we say, right? But it's funny that he addressed him that way instead of we got the head of Al Qaeda. I don't know. I just found that funny. In Arabic, no, you wouldn't say that unless you're doing it like in some form of irony or like you're actually addressing him like that way, and you mean it. In any case, let's talk about the drone strike because, they say that they got him in Kabul. And I want you to please look at this first sentence from this Guardian article because it made me laugh out loud so hard. I howled at this. This is the first sentence that they say, okay? They say the leader of Al Qaeda spent the last weeks of his life less than 500 meters from the swimming pool and bar where British diplomats relaxed during their Kabul tours. You wonder why? You wonder why? Oh, God. You wonder why? I think some people would argue that that's not a coincidence, right? He's just he's part of the community. He's a part of the neighborhood. Wow. So they say that the Ayman al Zawahiri was reportedly killed by a drone strike while out on his balcony, okay, which is nestled at the very heart of the Afghan capital. And they're talking about how there's a cleanup crew sent by the Taliban that came to kind of seal off the neighborhood and make sure that nobody can see what's going on, and they take that for what make of that what you will. But the Americans are saying that they killed him while he was out on the balcony, and no one else was injured. So they're saying his family's fine, they're safe. And they somehow managed to get him while he was out on the balcony. Man, be careful next time you go out on the balcony. You just might have 2 Hellfire missiles coming at you. That's it. That's it. That's all they were giving. There's no information about the body. There's no photographs. There's nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And, Biden said that Zawahiri was sheltered in downtown Kabul to reunite with his family. And it was a quote-unquote precise, tailored airstrike with 2 Hellfire missiles. And Biden authorized this after weeks of meetings with his cabinet and key advisors, and no American personnel were on the ground in Kabul. Now, let me say something, man, because a lot of people, given the stature, shall we say, or given the magnitude of this guy's role, as a terrorist in Egypt, internationally, in Pakistan, everywhere, you would think that, they offer some kind of proof, right? The same thing can be said about bin Laden. A lot of people were wondering, like, you just killed the head of Al Qaeda. You're not going to give us some kind of proof? No, you just have to take the Americans at their word. Okay. Well, what's the reaction to this? Let me tell you what the reaction to this is. The Afghans, the Taliban, are saying that this is a violation of international law because the United States, went inside their airspace on their land. This is not Texas. This is Kabul. And they conducted a military operation. They just blew someone to bits. Whether it's Ayman al Zawahiri or some guy or some baby or whoever it is. Yeah, okay, fine. That's number one. More importantly, they're saying it's a violation of the Doha Accords, okay? So now enter the statement from the Secretary of State, Blinken. Because this is what the Americans are saying, what justified, what excused the drone strike, okay? Take a look. So they're saying that the Afghans, meaning the Taliban in this case, which are, they're the government, they violated the accords, right? Blinken said, this is from the State Department, they said that by hosting and sheltering the leader of Al Qaeda in Kabul, the Taliban grossly violated the Doha Agreement and repeated assurances to the world that they would not allow Afghan territory to be used by terrorists to threaten the security of other countries. And he says also that they betrayed the Afghan people in their own stated desire for recognition from and normalization with the international community. So do you see the he said, she said, the I say, you say, the back and forth with this? The Afghans are saying you violated our territory, and the Americans are saying, well, you guys violated the agreement that you wouldn't host or shelter or harbor anyone from Al Qaeda. And I'm just sitting here and I'm looking at this something stinky going on here. Something stinky. You're telling me that these British diplomats and British intelligence and the Americans and all of these guys, they're just chilling by the pool, right? They're just relaxing in this neighborhood. And they had no idea. Right? They had no idea until now. Like all of a sudden this guy pops out of nowhere. Some people, again, I'm just telling you what some people are saying. Some people are saying that this is not true because they want evidence. They say the same thing about bin Laden. They say it's not true. Give us evidence, like a photo of the bodies. Let me just remind you, when the United States, they killed Saddam Hussein's 2 sons. I remember that. I remember seeing, to this day, I have that etched into my mind. I can see the photo in my mind to this day of their dead bodies, right? They plastered that photo everywhere. It was like a war trophy. Like, here, we killed your sons. Huh? We killed your sons. It was like a provocation. It's before they caught him, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that's what people are comparing it to. A more skeptical mind, a more cynical mind might also be looking at this and saying that they got rid of an asset. They're tying up loose ends. Because if you ask me, al Zawahiri, here he is again in the 1980s and 1981, going into prison, 3 years in prison. I'm looking at this guy. I'm looking at the bomb that he put in those trucks that almost blew me up. I'm looking at what he did in 9/11. I'm looking at everything just kind of combined together. And this guy looks like an asset to me. Just like bin Laden was. They got one guy from Saudi Arabia, one guy from Egypt who's Muslim Brotherhood. And you know what this guy did when he was in jail for those 3 years? What do you think he did when he was in prison? Do you think he just sat there? No, he was screaming like this. You saw him screaming to the world. Guess what? He was screaming in the prison as well. And this guy's recruiting. Of course. Of course he's recruiting. What do you think they put them in? They put him in there for? He's in there recruiting people, right? He's recruiting terrorists, recruiting, brainwashing people, poisoning their minds, young men. And then, of course, they have bin Laden on one hand. And it's just like with the others, with Baghdadi, right? Isn't it funny that Jolani and Baghdadi, all these guys, they at one point or another were in U.S. prisons? What do you think happened in those prisons? What do you think happened in those prisons? A lot can happen in prison. It's not an easy place, man. It's an awful place. But I'm just shall we say, I'm just exercising a healthy skepticism, which I kindly invite you to do the same. Don't always take these things, as take it for what it is and take them at their word, because while they say it's just kind of like, the Americans who say, well, Al Qaeda are terrorists, but then they're working with them, right? With the CIA as an organization. Well, it's the same thing here. It's from the other side, from the flip side. These guys, while they're out screaming that we are Muslims and we will not rest until until Palestine is liberated and every single one of these kafir armies leave our earth. Guess what? They're also collaborating and cooperating with the British, with the Americans. It works both ways, right? You have people like that, hypocrites on both sides, and I think that this guy was one of them. Just again, I'm just saying, this is his FBI file. It's been changed now. He was on the most wanted terrorist. The FBI, they have a most wanted list, an infamous most wanted list, and here they had Ayman al Zawahiri. Right, and he's wanted, as it says up here, for the murder of U.S. nationals outside the United States, conspiracy to murder U.S. nationals outside the United States, an attack on a federal facility resulting in death. And now it says deceased, right? The photo is still there, but it says deceased. So, Another reason that people are saying is that for the midterms, because Biden has the midterms ahead, and things are not looking well with, people paying through the nose for gas. Everything is rotten. Everything is ruined. And things are not looking good for Democrats. This is another thing. I don't know. Personally, I can't say whether that's the reason, but, I was joking to myself earlier that I would only believe that this is real if they had found him in Idlib, because Idlib is this part in Syria where they keep finding, or shall we say assassinating. The Americans killed al-Baghdadi, and then they killed al-Quraishi, or whatever the hell his name is. Like, both of those guys, they found them in Idlib, which is where Turkey is, NATO army sheltering these guys. What a coincidence, right? What a coincidence. And they find them among these moderate rebels. What a coincidence. And I was just joking that, it would only be real if he's in Idlib. No, this guy, I most certainly believe that he was in Pakistan or Afghanistan for sure. I just, that's just my hunch. But anyway, whether they killed him or not, whether they killed bin Laden or not, who knows? Who knows? All you can do, and all I can do and all you can do is take the Americans at their word. That's all we can do. We can take Obama at his word, and we can take Joe Biden at his word that they killed these guys. Either way, they're not very nice people, and I think they were certainly playing both sides, certainly, and getting played also. But it's like the mafia; they use you for a couple of things, and then they call it tying up loose ends. Who knows? Who knows? We're just being, we're just exercising skepticism here, which is healthy, right? Anyway, that's all I have to say about Zawahiri, and we'll leave it at that. So how are you guys doing? I see we've got almost 1,000 people tuned in, and please make sure you've hit the like button so we can get it up. I think we have 800 viewers, but 500 likes. So please make sure you've hit the like button. We're still going to continue. I have other things to talk about with you guys, and tell me where you're tuning in from, because when I started, we were fewer viewers. So just tell me right now if you've tuned in, where you're watching from. I told you guys usually that we would start at 6, but there was a pressing matter which I had to attend to, and I couldn't then, but we're here now, and we're gonna break all of these things down. So there we go. I see in the comments you guys are saying, wow, it's exploding. I can't read. Ireland, San Diego, Chicago, Austria, Finland, South Africa, Canada, New Zealand, the United States, Germany, Kansas, Russia, Moscow, Detroit, New Jersey, Eritrea. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at it. It's exploding. It's exploding. And again, I'm always going to say this with the Americans, when you tell them where you're tuning in from, they say the state. They don't say the country. They say the state. It's normal. When your country is the size of a continent, that's normal, right? In French, what we call the United States is c'est un état continent. It's a state continent because of how ginormous it is. So that's normal. When you ask an American, they don't say the country, they say the state. It's normal. Anyway, that's lovely. I'm seeing Austin, Texas, and everything else. So shout out to your lovely countries and cities and towns, and I'm happy to have you with us. And I'm going to talk about Pelosi now. If you know, you know. The Chinese are not very happy about her visit, huh? They're not very happy at all. That makes sense. Let's go through it. Let's go through it together and see what's going on. So Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, she has really angered the Chinese. She has really, really angered them. And it makes sense on the one hand. Take a look at the headline from Reuters. They say Nancy Pelosi arrives in Taiwan, voicing U.S. solidarity as China fumes. Yes. So the U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi arrived in Taiwan late on Tuesday on a trip she said demonstrates American solidarity with the Chinese-claimed self-ruled island. Jesus Christ, this sentence is really a mouthful. I regret having begun it. I regret having begun it. So basically, this is important. Why? Because, of course, you have American officials visiting Taiwan. That's nothing new. You had a delegation, 2 delegations that were there in March. It's nothing new. But she's the first House Speaker. Okay, she's the first Speaker of the House to do this in, 17 years? I think the last one was in 1997. So under the Bill Clinton administration, right? It's Newt Gingrich who went there. And that's what makes it significant. And of course, the Chinese are very, very touchy about this subject. They hate Americans, going, or shall we say, indicating too much support to Taiwan, right? Because as you guys know, of course, a few decades ago, what did the United States do? The U.S. switched recognition of what it regards as the true China to the People's Republic, okay? So the United States only has diplomatic relations with China since 40 years, something like that. And Taiwan is the only piece of land where we have an issue. Let me show you here on the map, just very briefly. Of course, to the left, we have mainland China, and this strip of land here on the right, this is Taiwan. Now, the Chinese, they look at Taiwan and they say, this is China, right? Taiwan is part of China. It's one China. That's it. There's no, China over here and a Taiwan over there. No, this is all China. And the United States also accepts, okay, all of this is China. However, the Chinese are afraid that the Americans will switch support at any second, right? So when you have the House Speaker getting off a plane all of a sudden in Taiwan, if you're the Chinese, you're looking at each other like, what the hell is she doing here? What is she doing here? Why did you send her? Right? Are you going to change your mind now? Like, what's going on? So this is from Reuters. They say Pelosi and the rest of her delegation disembarked from a U.S. Air Force transport plane at Songshan Airport in downtown Taipei after the nighttime landing on a flight from Malaysia. So they say that this visit risks pushing U.S.-Chinese relations to a new low. Now, Pelosi, of course, she sent out a barrage of tweets, or at least her staffer did. I doubt she writes these, and said that our delegation's visit to Taiwan honors America's unwavering commitment to supporting Taiwan's vibrant democracy. What a mouthful. What a mouthful. And they say our discussions with Taiwan leadership reaffirm our support for our partner and promote our shared interests, including advancing a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Again, what the hell does that mean? Because let's talk about the Indo-Pacific for a second. We had a few months ago, I always say a few months ago, it's almost a year, okay, it's almost a year, where the Australians and the British and the Americans, they get together and they make this new military alliance called AUKUS, right, which is aptly named after their names, Australia, UK, US. It doesn't really sound good, but that's the idea. And what do they say when they announce this thing, all three at the same time? They never mention China. They never say China's name. They say, we want to bring peace and stability and security to the Indo-Pacific. So this is China's backyard, right? If you live on, whatever, let's pick a name, like Black Street, and your name is John, I'm not going to say, hey, I want to really kick John's ass and get him out of his house. No. I'm going to go and just, I'm going to watch over Black Street, take care of this area, just make sure everything's okay. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. They just speak in riddles, okay? All they do is speak in riddles, but it's the exact same thing. Now, of course, Kirby, yeah, that's actually his name. John Kirby, he's the spokesperson. He's the official spokesperson for the Pentagon, for the Americans. To calm things down, let's take a look at what he has to say. This is his explanation for the visit.
Assurances. We have said, and we have repeatedly said, that we oppose any unilateral changes to the status quo from either side. We have said that we do not support Taiwan independence, and we have said that we expect cross-strait differences to be resolved by peaceful means. We have communicated this.
So cross-strait differences, you know what he's talking about? He's talking about this exact line that I showed you here, where it's not the Chinese who've done this, obviously. It's the Americans in Taiwan who considered this sort of a dividing line. Like, here's Taiwan, this is our territory, and that's China, this is our territory. China doesn't care for any of this. This is nonsense to their ears. But I'm going to let Kirby speak.
This directly to the PRC at the highest levels, including as recently as last week in the phone call between President Biden and President Xi. The National Security Advisor, the Secretaries of State and Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff have also made this very clear to Beijing in a
Right, so he's basically saying, we don't want any trouble. We've spoken to the Chinese, and there was, of course, a phone call between Biden and Xi Jinping just last week. They all spoke to each other. And despite that, let's see what's going on. Here's from Danny Haifeng. Look what he wrote on Twitter. He said that China's military, which is officially named the People's Liberation Army, the PLA, is preparing a series of countermeasures to Nancy Pelosi's trip, which will include a military operation within the following zones around Taiwan. Okay, so I'm just zooming out so you can see these little figures over here. I'm going to show you a video. This is a video that's also been released officially by the Chinese military. Okay? This is from the specifically from the Eastern Theater Command. Take a look at what their response is to Nancy Pelosi. They're saying, "Okay, you want to send her over here? We're gonna show you this." I love the suspense which is coming. I think you get the idea. I'm not going to play the full thing, but I wouldn't mess with them. That's just me personally, you know. I wouldn't start anything. I want to show you something else actually from last month. This is from the Chinese defense minister. Look what he has to say about Taiwan, because this is, I think, quite unequivocal, right, and explicit.
分裂出去，中国军队必将不惜一战、不惜代价，坚决粉碎任何台独分裂图谋，坚决维护国家主权和领土完整。
Right, so that speaks for itself. Just a 3-second clip. I mean, let me explain something, man, because you're looking at this visit. I don't think it's fair to look at it as some kind of isolated incident, because the last months there's been a lot of back and forth. We had this incident where the State Department, the U.S. State Department, changed some of the wording on their website, because if you go on their website, they have a sort of a tiny description about their relations with every country, right? So you go to country X and say, "Oh, we love country X and we've been trading with them. We have diplomatic relations since 50 gazillion years," whatever. And when you go to China, you look at their brief on China. They before, it was clearly, explicitly written that the United States does not support independence in Taiwan. It's like clear cut, end of story. And they changed that. And they changed that. And the Chinese, of course, are not stupid. The Chinese, they're looking at that and say, "What are you doing over there? What are you doing over there? That's odd of you. Why would you change this?" And then, of course, the Americans have to reassure them and say, "No, we are not changing our one China policy." Again, when we talk about a one China policy, this is simply what the Americans, what is understood to be America's stance towards China, that it's just China. There's no China and Taiwan. It's just China. We respect that. Okay, now the Americans keep saying that, but then they keep doing things like this. And if I'm not mistaken, that mercenary firm, Blackwater, the one in Iraq where they massacred civilians, and they're guns for hire, they're mercenaries. And the biggest, most infamous firm of that is Blackwater. They changed the name, they had to rebrand it because they killed and massacred so many people that it started becoming bad for business, so they had to change the name. In any case, the head of that, the founder, Eric Prince, I believe he lives in Taiwan. Am I mistaken? Or did he move did he move anything to Taiwan? Again, I might be, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but my point is that the Americans are sort of, there are ripples in the water right now. There are many ripples in the water. And there was another delegation, Mike Pompeo, of all people. He was in Taiwan just a few months ago, right? So this was in March of 2022. Mike Pompeo headed to Taiwan with some kind of think tank that he's participating with over there. So this is, again, Donald Trump's former Secretary of State. And then you had another U.S. congressional delegation which went there in May of 2022. So I don't know. If I'm the Chinese and I'm looking at this, that doesn't look. This doesn't look to one China policy to me, right? And a lot of people right now are thinking that you're going to have the same thing with what's happening in Ukraine, where basically you're going to have the United States and the mainstream media and the corporate media in the West kind of really just launching an enormous campaign to rally support behind Taiwan, just the same that they're doing right now with Ukraine, okay? And they're going to do this. They're going to use Taiwan in a bid to escalate with China, to start a war with China, to whatever it is. When we say these phrases, start a war with China, I mean, you know what that means. That's like Armageddon. It's game over. I don't want to know what is start a war with China. That's not an option. But nevertheless, we live in a crazy world, right? These people are nuts. And I don't really, there's no limits to the things they would do. Now, honestly, if you ask me, I think there's some truth to it. I don't know if it's completely true, but I think there's some truth to it that they're trying to rally. They're trying to put Taiwan in people's in the public consciousness a bit more, right? They're trying to rally more support behind Taiwan and make it more of an issue. And this is very bad because the Chinese, like I said, they're basically doing so well that they've lifted so many people out of poverty. Again, it's not a perfect country. They have their own issues, many issues, just like anybody else. But they've lifted so many people out of poverty, and just on a global basis, China right now, it's going to surpass the United States as the number one economy. They have the largest army. They're a nuclear armed nation. They have nuclear weapons. So the United States and the West, they're feeling inferior. They're feeling like, oh no, we're not going to be the big dog anymore. The Chinese are. Well, that's what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to let it happen. There's a lot of saber rattling going on. But that's really what it comes down to. Like, if you really want to understand this issue, this is all about being a thorn in China's side. And I want to be unequivocal. I want to be super clear with you right now. This is the most important thing you should take away. The United States does not give a shit about Taiwan or the people in Taiwan. They want to annoy China. They want to put a thorn in China's side. And all of this is to make China afraid, to basically tell them that, hey, we have Taiwan as our ally and we can put weapons there, bases there. We can use Taiwan against you. And this is the same thing that they always do, right? They're doing the same thing, of course, with the border with Afghanistan. That's also become unstable. The Trump administration, they went and delisted this TPP, I think the abbreviation was called, this Turkmenistan Islamic Party, right? It's basically a terrorist organization. You have at least 5,000 fighters in Syria, They tell you it's a civil war in Syria, but they have Uyghurs there. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But basically, the Trump administration, they told China, you know what? This terrorist organization, we're going to delist them as a terrorist organization just to annoy you, just to be a thorn in your side. And then you have the issues with Hong Kong, right? They're supporting those democracy protests over there. And you have the issue with Tibet. I mean, when I say issue, these were never really issues before. The United States is only now making them issues, okay? But these are various things in the toolkit that they want to use to annoy China, to provoke China. So it's Taiwan, it's Tibet, it's Hong Kong, and it's the Uyghurs, right? So they're exploiting these issues, pretending to care about them to provoke the Chinese. And of course, these never mattered when the United States needed the Chinese, right? When Hillary Clinton went there. You remember that? I showed you this video where Hillary Clinton is in China and she's saying, oh, we're going to be best friends and we love you and we're going to build a bond together. She just wanted money. That's what it was about. They wanted loans and stuff. So you understand this is always what happens with the U.S. and the West. They never care about these so-called human rights issues until, they don't want you anymore, right? So this is, for example, I can give you with Bashar al-Assad, with the Syrian president. He went to the UK. He was with the Queen. Literally, he's with the Queen, and with Tony Blair, and him and Tony Blair, they're with their wives, and he's with Prince Charles. They're basically trying to win him over. They're trying to woo him, and when that didn't work, then he's a dictator. Blah blah blah. And with Saddam Hussein. You remember Donald Rumsfeld? He got off the plane and he shook hands with Saddam Hussein, and they gave him chemical weapons to use against Iran because they needed Iraq to use against Iran. And then when they were done with that, they turned against Iraq. It's always like this. This is a pattern that you see over and over. So remember that. Keep that in mind. Again, this visit with Nancy Pelosi, it's not unique. You shouldn't look at it as in a vacuum. You have to look at it in the general context of AUKUS, of China surpassing the West in everything, in its army, in its economy, and already the landmass that it has. It is a power, and it's on its way to becoming a superpower. There's no question about that, and they want to stop that. Right, so they're using these various issues against China, and God forbid there's a military confrontation, because I think we'd all be done for. So let's leave it at that, and I'll keep you updated, of course, on everything else. I should have said that China is also part of the BRICS, but that's obvious to you guys because you're smart. You know what the BRICS are. You know that China's leading them in a sense, it goes without saying. China is when we talk about BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So China is one of the rising economies, the expanding economies, the growing economies. And of course, we look at the pivot as well. Again, I hate that word because they use it in a bad sense, to pivot towards the East. You remember how they were saying, these U.S. officials, that we need to pivot towards China. Oh, now we're out of Afghanistan. We're done with occupying the Afghans for 20 years. Let's look at the Chinese. Let's mess with them. Let's go with AUKUS. And let's start, giving the Australians better weapons to help in our attacks against them, potential attacks. So, my point was that alternatively, you have Russia, you have Iran, you have the global South. They're building bridges with the Chinese in this Belt and Road Initiative. You remember China is trying to basically, revive the Silk Road, the infamous Silk Road. The Silk Road in ancient times was a trade route all through Asia, a famous trade route that, it was the center of the economy. That's how it was, It went all the way from China to Palmyra and Syria and onwards into Europe. So China's idea is to revive that by, signing deals with countries all over the world. Cuba, Syria, Iran, you name it. And they're building a new economic framework. Once again, the West looks at that and they feel threatened. Like, how you're not giving us a piece of the pie? We're not running the show? No, we can't have that. This is not allowed. That's what it's about. It's about rivalry and them feeling insecure and irrelevant. Because in the future, I'm telling you, man, that's how it's going to be. The West is going to fade out, and it's going to be China and the rest. Who knows? I could be wrong. Biden might set off a nuclear bomb, and that's the end. Who knows what these people do? They're insane. Oh my God. Do you guys, seriously, this is a serious question. Do you guys believe that they killed Zawahiri this morning? I'm just going to put that as a poll because I just want to know your thoughts. Do you think they actually killed him? Why do you think they killed him? Do you think it was just kind of tying up loose ends, as the mob say? They were done with him. They just wanted to get rid of him, and this was a convenient time. What do you guys think? I'm gonna set up a poll now. Do you think they killed? Or let's say got. Do you think they really got Al Zawahiri? It's just a question. I'm really wondering myself. Go ahead. You tell me. I've launched the poll in the live chat. So yeah. In any case, I see we've got 1,000 people watching, but only 700 likes. So please make sure you've hit the like button. It really helps the channel to grow and to fight the algorithm, because it doesn't like us, I think, but we'll see. I wanted to touch on this a while back already, this next one that I'm going to bring up. But I really don't know what to say. Basically, the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, they pulled a sneaky one on him. They pulled a sort of a slick move, right? So what happened is he resigned as prime minister, and he did that precisely not because of all the scandals that came before, but because his cabinet, you had several key ministers, the health minister, the head of the treasury, they resigned. And that's embarrassing. When you have that happen to you, you have to resign as prime minister. You cannot stay on. So, basically, this is what happened just a few weeks back. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he quit after more than 50 members of parliament resigned from his government within 48 hours. I mean, you look at that and you can't help but think that this was planned, right? They planned this stuff. That's why I say they pulled a sneaky on him, right? So he resigned. That's how it goes. He knows politics. He knows how it is. He's a big boy, as they say. And now the question is, who's going to replace him, right? I don't even know if it's worth asking this question, if we should even bother, because it's still it's going to be the same old, isn't it? It's going to be the same old. It's either going to be someone from it's certainly going to be someone from the Conservative Party. It's either going to be Rishi Sunak or Liz Truss. So Liz Truss, she is currently the foreign minister, right? Or the foreign secretary, as we say, but just to simplify. And Sunak, he's the head of the treasury, right? And let me just show you very briefly how this goes, because there are not going to be any elections in the UK. And I know this sounds very weird to people in the US, because, you're thinking if the president quits, well, you just have somebody else, take over. How does that work? Where are the elections? What's going on? This is how it goes. Basically, they're sending ballot papers, okay, for people to vote on, to like 160,000 people. And these are all Conservative Party members, right? Before that, however, there's some sort of like secret process where they eliminate the candidates. So you'll have 10 people saying, I want to be the prime minister. Please let me go. And then it's they go through them until there's just 2 left. And these are the 2 left. This is what we have. Like I told you, we have Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak. It's them. So either one of these people is going to be the next British prime minister. But of course, no one in Britain is actually picking them, right? That's the funny part. And you had many prime ministers like that, right? Was Theresa May voted in? I don't remember that. You have people within the party choosing the next prime minister, 160,000 people choosing that for, millions of others. It's very funny, right? What real democracy, as you can tell. A real democracy. It's just so good. And the next elections are in 2024, in 2 years. The next general elections, of course, right? So they're basically doing a profile on these people. They're saying that, oh, well, this guy, he's Asian background. His parents emigrated from India to the UK. And, he's one of the people who helped oust Johnson because he resigned from his cabinet, right? So he basically ushered on this whole process. And the issue with him is that he's a rich kid, right? So they say here, born a rich kid who's completely out of touch. That's the point. They say that he's born to Indian parents who moved to the UK from East Africa. Sunak was the head boy at the exclusive Winchester College private school and later studied at Oxford. And they say his elite education and work in investment banking could make him seem out of touch with ordinary voters. And so basically what's happened is you have this like little clip that's come out where he's saying that he has no working class friends. I'm just going to play it to you. It speaks for itself, really. Here, take a look.
I have friends who are aristocrats, I have friends who are upper class, I have friends who are, working class, but I'm not working class. But I mix and match, and then I go to see kids from an inner city state school and tell them, to apply to Oxford and talk to them about people like me, and then I shock them at the end of chatting to them for half an hour and tell them I was at Winchester and one of my best friends is from Eton or whatever, and then they're like, oh, okay. I have friends who are
yes, oh boy. Yes, I went to Winchester. Yes, and then and Eton and Oxford. Yes, and all my friends come from there as well. Yes, it's a jolly good show, oh boy. Yes, I have working class. Actually, no, I don't have any working class friends. To hell with those bloody peasants. Wow. So he's very straightforward. Now I don't know how old this clip is, because you have people saying, well, he was like 20 when he said that. That's like 20 years ago. Come on, can you really hold them against him? I don't know, but this is what people are talking about, so I'm showing it to you because it's relevant. And basically, people are saying that he's out of touch and he looks down on working class people, and yeah, they're trying to screw his bid with that. That's what's going on. And then we have with Liz Truss, who thinks she's Margaret Thatcher, right? So that's basically everything I can tell you about her. She's the foreign minister. I was actually shocked when they made her the foreign minister, because I never heard of her. And she's suddenly the foreign minister, so she's the top diplomat. And you saw her like last month. She was sitting with the foreign minister of India, and chatting to all these people. I don't know. It's just weird. But that's what I love about the UK. It's really like we say, oh, we're a democracy, but you see these people in power just basically swapping positions around. You'll have somebody who's like the foreign minister, who then out of nowhere they're suddenly the health minister. Apparently they know things about health, and then they'll go and jump and become the mayor of London, and they go back to minister. Or no, usually you go up, so you go from mayor to that. But they'll go from one ministerial job to the next, and then suddenly they're in a bid to become prime minister. And no one's ever heard of these people. Who the hell are these people? I really want to know, who the hell are these people that are running the country? Did anyone vote for them? Hardly. They're about to choose the next prime minister like that. No one has ever heard of these people. No one votes for them, and they're suddenly in the fucking government in Number 10 or in Whitehall or wherever. It's unbelievable. So this is what's going on. This is what we have. Just like the most boring two people on the planet running to become prime minister. Who the hell cares, man? It's the same crap. I'm actually shocked that Priti Patel isn't in there. That's the only surprise to me. Priti Patel, she's really smart, isn't she? She's really, I should say cunning. I think cunning is the right word. I hope she doesn't take away my citizenship. That's a very nervous laugh. But seriously, like she's the Home Secretary, and just given all the things that she's doing, that she's going to end up in a bid to become prime minister, right? I just feel like she's eyeing that role, and she's been eyeing that role for quite some time. Maybe she thought that she should stay on as home because just let me be very clear. While Sunak resigned, for example, she didn't, right? And a lot of these people resigned, 50 MPs, she didn't. That's very interesting. So that already tells you a lot, that she didn't resign. And, I guess she just wants to stay on as Home Secretary, right? She's been doing a lot of damage as Home Secretary. I've told you this so many times, and I'll keep saying it. I'm kind of just shocked at the amount of bills, the horrific, authoritarian bills that she has put forward, right? Things that for example, the Overseas Operations Bill, where they're basically saying that, British troops who've committed war crimes, if it's older than 5 years, they just get immunity from prosecution for that. And then they had the Spy Cops Bill, where basically they're giving any undercover agent in the UK, remember, I'm saying any, so that means even outside the police. So you could be working inside, like in an agency to combat gambling or some crap like that, or something to do with food. There's a list of agencies that we went through. They're just ridiculous, right? And they're giving these people with undercover identities the legal power to kill, to rape, to torture. Like they have blanket immunity from all crimes. It's insane. It's nuts. Like you read this and you're like, what? This is not a bill. This is a plot for like some kind of thriller. And then of course they have the recent Nationality and Borders Bill, where they're saying that she meaning Priti Patel, she can take away anybody's citizenship, and she doesn't even have to tell them if it's too hard to reach them, whatever that means, right? What does that mean? They gave you one missed call, they don't know your number, you're on the moon, like this is so abstract. And of course it basically tries to discourage migrants, refugees, trying to hurt them really bad, if they're going to criminalize that, make them feel like there's like they're doing something wrong. And that's very bad, because it goes against the Refugee Convention, which the UK helped to not only sign but helped to author. So this is very wrong also on an international level, because it's violating an international agreement. So lots of wrong things that she's done, many bills that we've covered here on the channel, and I'm just shocked. right? I'm shocked. Let me just pull up her picture. Excuse me. I'm just gonna, because some of you might not be familiar with her, right? Again, I hope she doesn't screw me in some way. Please don't do that to me. That's her. That's Priti Patel. That's our Home Secretary, as you can see, right? Very, very, very charming lady. She does have an air about her, I will say. I'm saying all these nice things to like to save myself. That's her, Priti Patel. Yeah. In any case, I expect to see her, make a bid for the premiership at some time. But Boris Johnson is gone. He's out. But he'll still be the prime minister until the next one is chosen. So that's it. And the scandals that they're pinning this on. I mean, they said things like COVID, for example. Sorry, this is an old headline. He did quit. He did end up quitting. They say things like he didn't handle COVID well, and there was a scandal about the lockdowns. Basically while they were telling people you're not allowed to bury your deceased mother or whatever, like God forbid, you're not allowed to bury your family, you're not allowed to visit your sick family. While they were enforcing that, he was having drinks. They were all having drinks in number 10. Right? So basically, like, one set of rules for you, the public, and one set of rules for us. Like, we can violate our own lockdown rules. Very, very nice, right? Very fancy. Very fancy. Very, it's just, the arrogance is really something. And then they point out to a bunch of, this article on BBC, they basically said 5 things that led to the PM's downfall. And they go through them. And Partygate, this is exactly what I just described to you. They called it Partygate. I really think it wasn't really just that. Because if it were, he would have already resigned. I think it was more of them pulling a sneaky on him. You had this was orchestrated. When you have 50 people resigning at once in 48 hours, and two of your cabinet members resigning, that's planned. They're sticking a knife in him. I'm not defending him in any way at all. I just told you a lot of things quite to the contrary about his government, right? Because Patel is part of that. But that looked a bit orchestrated to me. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. Thank you very much for the donations, beer and flies. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate the super chat, and I see we've got a bunch of more donations here. Let me read them to you, because if you want to donate, you can on PayPal, and you can send a question or a note. Sherman Weaver says, great analysis. And you sent that when? This was half an hour ago, so I guess I was talking about Pelosi and Taiwan. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sherman. You're very kind. And we've got a bunch of other donations over here. We've got one from... give me a second, it's loading. This is from Tillin. Thank you very much for the generous donation. There's no note, but thank you nevertheless. And I really want us to get at least one crab dance, okay? At least one crab dance. So if you enjoy my work, you're learning something from the channel, please consider supporting the show, even for €1 or $1 or £1 a month on PayPal. I'm going to put up the screen. I don't know what the current number is, but we're growing very high. We're at 900 something, which is insane. So please consider supporting the show. Again, like I said, just a quid or two a month. I'm going to put up the screen. There you go. You can put whatever number you like. So I'd appreciate that very much, and it helps me and independent media to grow. So for those of you who are supporting independent media, it doesn't even have to be this channel, but just in general, just helping us get away from all that crap in the mainstream media. I'm very grateful, and I appreciate it very much. And if you'd like, you can also donate on PayPal and send me a question or a note, or on Venmo. So I'm just laughing about the segment we just did about Priti Patel and all these people. They're so boring. I don't know who these people are. Like, who are you? You're gonna run the country? I've never heard of you. No, it's really just a bunch of stuck up, like school kids who went to Eton. Eton, for those of you who don't know, is like the top school in the UK. Not college. It's like before, high school, before you go to college. It's more of a boys' boarding school, a classic English public school. It's oh wow, we're only 2 members away from the goal. Thank you, Claudia, for the good news. Claudia is very kind and generous. She updated the thermometer, as we're calling it, with Joe Biden. Oh my god, this thing is really atrocious. So wow, we're even higher. It's not 924. We are only 2 members away. It's actually 948. Thank you very much, Claudia. There you go, guys. We are 2 members away. So please, let's hit the goal, guys, and then I can unveil a new crab dance. So we're just 2 subscribers away on Patreon. Again, please consider supporting the show for £1 or £2 a month. We're only 2 members away. I just want to add one more thing about Thatcher and Truss. This is really this is so cringe. This is so cringy. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna pull this up for you because it was utterly atrocious. Okay, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. So, again, they're saying that it's either going to be her or it's going to be Sunak on the right becoming prime minister. And if you go down here and you look at the profile they've done, and they say like, oh, she's like Thatcher, they actually mean that. Look at this. This is so cringy. It's so cringy. Oh my god. They say that as a 7-year-old in 1983, Liz Truss, who's the daughter of left-wing activists, played the role of Margaret Thatcher in her school's mock elections, yet she couldn't gain a single vote. What is that supposed to mean? Are we supposed to like her more? Oh god, this photo, it's really something, man. And they say that they're saying that it's believed she has been carefully cultivating her leadership credentials ever since. I still don't know what that means. That's just like, that's so vague. And like I said, she was the top diplomat, and they say she campaigned for the UK to remain in the EU, but then she became a champion of Brexit, and she signed a string of post-Brexit trade deals in her former role. Wait, that was the wrong transition. I was trying to go to me. Yeah, well, it's not like she really had a choice, because if you're the bloody foreign minister and this country wants to make a trade deal with you, and you agree as a government, you have to go sign it whether you like it or not. Of course. But nevertheless, I just wanted to add that a small thing. Shall we make a comparison with Thatcher with Liz Truss? Let's put them together. Oh god, this is so horrible. This is so cringe. I regret. Oh god, I hate it. I hate it so bad. What the fuck is this monstrosity? Oh my god, she's even dressing like her. It's unbelievable. I thought they were joking. No, she actually means it. Wow. What are we doing? What is this country doing? Have you people gone nuts? Oh my god. I think maybe Patel would be a better choice. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that. They're all so horrible. And they're all cut from the same cloth, right? Whether you like it or not, at the end of this election, where, most of the country doesn't get to participate, it's going to be conservative, right? It's just, this picture is so cringe. I don't even know what to say. I'm offended. I regret showing this to you, and now I have offended myself. I'm done. Seriously, we're over. That's it, man. That's it. Oh god. Oh boy. Thank you very much, Felix Lopez. Felix, I really appreciate that. Felix just signed up on Patreon. We are 1 person away. We're 1 subscriber away from hitting the goal. Come on, guys. Let's do this. I know we can do this right now. Either way, I'm going to put a crab dance down for Felix. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it very much. Here's the crab dance. Let's go, everybody. Come on.
Clap for that, you stupid bastard. Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line, claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Cut that bitch out.
Thank you for Iron Dome, which is a technical marvel.
والله انت كلاب بصراحة يعني. ماشي نشتغل عادي.
We lied, we cheated, we stole.
China. 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 China.
And you ain't black.
There's always the macro and then there's the micro.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
You talking to me?
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'll have 2 number 9s. The number 9 large.
we got him. I told myself, I know it's not.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Why you texting? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. Okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
There we go, guys. There we go. Thank you so much, Felix. I really appreciate it. We are officially at 949. So we just need to update this. Here we go. We just need to update this, and we're just one member away from hitting the goal on Patreon. So thank you very much, everybody who's supporting the show, supporting independent media, making sure that we take control of the narrative, the people take control of the narrative, and it's enough of that corporate bullshit over on CNN and BBC and whatever nonsense they got going over there, whatever nonsense they got going on over there, because it's all imperialist bullshit. We are taking back control, and it's thanks to you guys. I appreciate it very much. And if you want to donate on PayPal, let me pull that up as well for you. There's a QR screen. You can just scan the QR code with Venmo, with Cash App, whatever you want. PayPal, it's all there. You just scan it, and it will do it for you immediately. There we go. We got one. There we are. Thank you so much to Miri. Thank you so much, Miri, for signing up on Patreon. We hit the goal. We did it. We hit the goal of 50. I'm so grateful to you guys. Let's play a crab dance for Miri again. And again, everybody say thanks in the comments. Here we go.
Clap for that, you stupid bastard. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Cut that bitch out.
Thank you for Iron Dome, which is a technical marvel.
والله انتوا كلاب بصراحة يعني. ماشي نشتغل عادي.
We lied, we cheated, we stole.
China. 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 China.
And you ain't black.
There's always the macro and then there's the micro.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
You talking to me?
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'll have 2 number 9s. The number 9 large.
we got him. I told myself, I know it's not.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Why you texting? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. Okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for supporting independent media. This is the spot. You guys know this is the spot to get all of your news on international relations, on the United States, on the UK, on Syria, on the Middle East, on Iran, nuclear deals especially. This is the spot, and I'm so grateful to you. And I'm just thinking again about everything that we covered today, especially with this horrific image that will forever scar my that is forever etched into my memory and will scar me for life. No, but seriously, with that strike on Zawahiri, let me look at the result. I didn't look at the result. You guys, I asked you, do you think that they really got Ayman al Zawahiri? Most of you said no. Wow, 64% of you guys said no. That you do not think the United States killed him in that drone strike. Man, what can I say? I really don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, man. I can say that he's a piece of shit. I'll definitely say that. That's for sure. But did the United States get him? This is the question, man, because we have no choice but to take them at their word. And you remember what they did with bin Laden? You remember this joke? They said, oh, no, there's no body, man. We can't show you the body. It's gone. It's gone. We threw it into the sea, into the ocean, so in accordance with Islamic burial and laws. And I'm thinking, they're like, what, you have respect now suddenly for Islam? Yeah. No, you're doing something funny now. You shouldn't have said that part, because now I'm really suspicious of you, of the United States. What did they do, man? Do you think they really got bin Laden? I don't know. Again, remember, these people, they collaborate with these terrorists. And they have collaborated with these terrorists. And they lie about shit all the time. So the only thing we have right now is to take Obama's word and Biden's word. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't say one or the other because I don't have any evidence to either, to either claim. But my gut feeling is that I'm leaning more towards that they're bullshitters. But my main point here, Zawahiri is gonna die one day, whether it's in drone strike or in his bed. It doesn't matter. My main point here is that this guy was basically an asset. He was basically an asset for Western intelligence, and these things, whether it's ISIS, Al Qaeda, whether it's Muslim Brotherhood, these things, they are all the hand of the West inside the Arabic world. Remember that. They use these organizations and their leaders to infiltrate the Arabic world, to make chaos in the Arabic world, and to justify the wars in the Arabic world. Okay? And we know for a fact that the CIA, they were working with the Mujahideen, and who were running the Mujahideen? Who was in Maktab al-Khadamat in Peshawar during the war with the Soviets? Osama bin Laden, Ayman al Zawahiri, they were there. These guys were in the Mujahideen, they were helping the Mujahideen, they were the leaders. The point men, shall we say, is a better word. They had the money, they had the means, they were running all of this stuff, helping get the fighters to get in, treating the fighters. And these are the guys, they go off and they are doing, they're bombing embassies and they're attacking the Americans, all this stuff. Doesn't matter, man, whether they turned against them for real or they didn't turn against them. They are the hand of the West inside the Arabic world. Never forget that. ISIS or Daesh, Al Qaeda, is the Muslim Brotherhood, is all the West that is running. All of these organizations are being run by the West, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll leave it at that. No one is going to miss Ayman al Zawahiri. Me least of all. And he is a murderer. He has a lot of blood on his hands. A lot of blood. And maybe he said some things that you would agree with, like, oh, we have to liberate Palestine. That motherfucker never meant it. He's a liar. They talk the talk, but then behind the scenes, what are they doing? Complete opposite. So remember that these guys, they are basically assets for the CIA, for the West. Bin Laden, Zawahiri, all of them, and Baghdadi as well. Remember, we killed the head of. Remember Trump? We killed the head of ISIS. We have eliminated his organization. Al-Baghdadi. That guy was in a U.S. prison. Do you think we forgot? Jolani, the guy who's running Hayat Tahrir al-Sham in Syria, which is basically Al Qaeda. He was also in the same prison. What did the U.S. do to those guys in prison? Did they recruit them? Did they help them recruit others? Who knows? Who the hell knows? You will find out when it doesn't matter anymore. That's when the truth will come out. But let me tell you, brothers and sisters, these motherfuckers, never take them at their word. Never take them at their word. They're liars. They're scammers. They're thieves. They're scandalous. And whether they say the guy fell off the balcony, he died in a drone strike, it's irrelevant. It doesn't change the you know, the main picture, it doesn't change, you know, the main picture that we're looking at here. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of your support. Thank you for supporting the channel and for all of your donations and for signing up on Patreon. I really appreciate that very much. We also have another person who signed up on to support the show. Thank you very much, Pete. Everybody, say thank you to Pete in the comments. Pete, I'm going to play crab dance for you. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that very much.
Clap for that, you stupid bastard. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Cut that bitch off.
Thank you for Iron Dome, which is a technical marvel.
والله انتوا كلاب بصراحة يعني. ماشي نشتغل عادي.
After we lied, we cheated, we stole.
China.
And you ain't black.
There's always the macro, and then there's the micro.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
You talking to me?
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'll have two number 9. Number 9 large.
we got him. I know it myself. I know it's not.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Why you texting? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. Okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Thank you guys so much again. Really appreciate it. And I think we'll leave it at that. I'll see you guys next time. Again, just one thing I'll say. If you didn't get a notification from YouTube, make sure that you have you've signed up on the email newsletter. So basically a Substack. And I'll show you very quickly how you can do that. Claudio will put the link below. It's basically RichardMedhurst.substack.com, and you just put in the email right there. Okay, so you can see that. All you do is type in your email and hit subscribe. And I'm also on Telegram. So a lot of you are using Telegram more and more. I have a channel on there. So if I go live, I'm going to tell you, you'll get a notification for sure. So these are the two methods I'm offering you: email or on Telegram. Okay, so pick whichever is better for you, whichever you prefer, whether you want to get an email or you want to get a notification on Telegram. I will notify you for sure. That way, if YouTube does not tell you, I will. Okay, and you can make it to the next live stream. Either way, please remember what I'm telling you right now. Just in case, remember this. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m., I'm going to be live, okay? So when I say 6 p.m., I'm saying 6 p.m. CEST. I'm going to type that out for you right now, okay? There you go. So if you're in New York, that's noon. If you're in Los Angeles, that's 9 a.m. Set an alarm. And if you're in Paris, that's 6 p.m. If you're in London, that's 5 p.m. If you're in Cairo, that's 6 p.m. So I'm giving you all the time zones there. All right. So again, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 6 p.m. CEST, and I put the schedule down below. Again, sorry today for the delay. There's a pressing matter that I had to attend to, but it doesn't matter. I'll see you on Thursday. So after tomorrow at 6 p.m. CEST. That way we don't need any fucking notifications. You come here, you know I'm going to be there. All right. We have an agreement with each other. I said it. You heard it. That's it. See you guys then. Take care. And again, ma'as-salami. Bye-bye.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
A is for
all men and women created by go. You know the thing.
B is for
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
C is for
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
D is for
Don't worry, I'm so serious. Children, I love to hear them.
E is for
An excuse to walk by the dealer and say, no, I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
F is for
Time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend in and out of public life.
G is for
Go to Joe 30330.
H is for
Hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down.
I is for
I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
J is for
Just look at the record.
I have President Biden, Vice President Biden.
Well, I tell you what, if you look at my record and you still doubt about my commitment, then you should vote for somebody else.
K is for
Kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
L is for
The lion, dog, face, pony soldier.
M is for
Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear work.
N is for
NATO.
O is for
The only African American woman that's ever been elected to the United States Senate.
P is for
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
R is for
Rest her soul, and although she's your mom's still alive.
S is for
Send a text to the word united.
T is for
Truth over facts.
U is for
Union workers, the UAW took incredible cuts in their future.
V is for
I'll vote for somebody else.
All right, thanks so much.
W is for
Wait, you're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
X is for
Xi Jinping.
Y is for
And you ain't black.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
A is for
All men and women created by you know the thing.
B is for
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
C is for
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
D is for
Don't worry, I'm so serious. Children, I love to hear them.
E is for
An excuse to walk by the dealer and say, no, I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
F is for
Time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend in and out of public life.
G is for
Go to Joe 30330.
H is for
Hairy legs